The year is 2025. The world watches as the Russian bear tightens its grip on Ukraine. This is not just a regional conflict. It's a powder keg threatening global stability. The stakes? Democracy versus authoritarianism. Freedom versus oppression. Peace versus a new era of conflict. This war hits home for everyone. Energy prices soar. Global supply chains tremble. The specter of nuclear escalation hangs heavy. The world is on edge, waiting for the next move. The West, led by the European Union and NATO, walks a tightrope. Their goal: contain the conflict, support Ukraine, and avoid a wider war with Russia. This is a high-stakes game with no easy answers. The European Union, an economic powerhouse but militarily a patchwork. On paper, the EU boasts over 1.4 million troops and cutting-edge technology. Their combined GDP dwarfs Russia's. But appearances can be deceiving. Internal disagreements plague the EU. Some members hesitate, fearing economic repercussions from confronting Russia. Others demand a strong, unified response. This lack of consensus weakens their position, giving Russia an advantage. The EU struggles to fill the void left by a less engaged United States. They impose sanctions, provide aid to Ukraine, and bolster their defenses. But the question remains, can they truly stand up to Russia without America's full backing? Russia, a nation forged in conflict, with a military designed for brute force. They possess a massive nuclear arsenal and churn out tanks and artillery at an alarming rate. Their cyber warfare capabilities are sophisticated, constantly probing for weaknesses in Western defenses. But the bear has weaknesses. Their economy, heavily reliant on oil and gas exports, is feeling the sting of sanctions. Corruption is rampant, hindering their military effectiveness. And the morale of their soldiers, bogged down in a grueling war, is a question mark. Russia finds support from China, a partnership of convenience born out of shared rivalry with the West. China provides economic lifelines and technological assistance, emboldening Russia's defiance. This alliance adds another layer of complexity to an already volatile situation. Section 4. NATO's shadow expansion and its discontents. NATO, a military alliance formed during the Cold War to counter the Soviet Union. With the fall of the Iron Curtain, NATO expanded eastward, incorporating former Soviet satellites in Eastern Europe. This expansion, driven by a desire to protect these countries from Russian aggression, has been a point of contention with Moscow. Russia views NATO's eastward expansion as a direct threat, a betrayal of promises made after the collapse of the Soviet Union. They see it as a strategy to encircle and weaken Russia, fueling their paranoia and justifying their aggressive actions. This historical context is crucial to understanding the current conflict. It's a clash of ideologies, security concerns, and historical grievances. NATO's expansion, while intended to promote stability, has inadvertently contributed to the current crisis. Ukraine, caught in the crossfire. Ukraine, a nation caught in the center of a geopolitical tug-of-war. They are the battleground, the prize fought over by larger powers. Their desire to join NATO stemmed from a need for self-preservation, not aggression. Russia's invasion has shattered Ukraine's peace and devastated its people. Cities lie in ruins, millions are displaced, their lives upended by violence. The human cost of this conflict is immeasurable. The world watches, horrified as this tragedy unfolds. The blame game is easy to play, but the truth, as always, is more nuanced. This conflict is the culmination of miscalculations, strategic blunders, and a failure of diplomacy on all sides. The question now is, can this cycle of violence be broken, or are we destined to repeat the mistakes of the past?